You see this piece of paper right here? It recently sold for $72,000. Now, what is Confederate currency? Because that one just sold for a ton of money, guys. Well, in this video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about these Confederate currency bills and how much they're selling for online. Let's hop into it with this first 1862 $2 bill, Confederate States of America bill. Now, this one got graded by PMG at a 63 EPQ, and it sold for $31,200. Now, this specific bill is really rare and very valuable. The reality is a lot of these bills were printed to the ground. So many of them were made, and as soon as the Confederate War was over, they were honestly worthless. People actually used them as wallpaper in their houses. That is how worthless they really were. That makes some of these survivors today worth even more money. So once again, $31,200 for this 1862 $2 bill. If you have one that looks like this, make sure it is not a counterfeit. Make sure that you don't see copy or facsimile or counterfeit anywhere on the bill. Sometimes these counterfeiters literally just put counterfeit or copy on the actual bill, so that is a very easy way to tell. However, I get the question all the time, what is a Confederate paper money bill? Now, it refers to a currency that was issued by the CSA, or the Confederate States of America, during the American Civil War between 1861 and 1865. They were printed to finance the Southern War effort after the South seceded from the Union. Now, moving on to this next bill, we've got some really high grade examples and really expensive one. This is an 1861 $5 bill. The number is a T33. Now, that's just a reference number to say what exactly do you have in terms of the type of bill. You can see that the serial number is all hand drawn on these bills, or handwritten, and the signatures are all handwritten too, which is really cool because US federal paper money today is definitely not done one by hand. Keep in mind also that these are all hand cut paper money bills. They didn't have cutting machines back then, but this one was graded by PMG at a 63 and it sold for $14,400. A good general rule of thumb, remember I told you that these Confederate bills were produced between 1861 and 1865. Just keep in mind that the earlier date you have, the more money it's generally going to be worth. So example, this is a first year of issue $5 bill from 1861, so a bit more rare, especially in this condition. Really beautiful banknote overall. It sold for $14,400. $10,200 for this 1861 $10 bill. You can see there that the orange overprint is really standing out compared to the rest of the bill. These overprints were mainly used to deter counterfeiters. So back in the day, there was a lot of counterfeit activity going on because the regulations weren't really in place and it was easier to get by counterfeiting back in the day. So these anti-counterfeiting measures were added to decrease counterfeiters and make it harder to counterfeit bills. But that one sold for $10,200. This next one is a $20 bill from 1861. It was graded by PMG at a 63 EPQ. Now guys, I know a lot of the bills I'm going over in this video are selling for tons and tons of money. I do need to set the stage properly here because most Confederate bills you get are going to be selling for anywhere between $10 to $200 at most. These are extreme outliers that I'm going over, but it is possible to come across them, and if you find one or come across one in a collection, please, you want to contact a rare paper money expert. The last thing you want to do is bring a bill like any of these in the video to a pawn shop because you're going to get taken for your money. Be careful out there, guys. Please watch out for any people that are trying to take advantage of you because that is where you're going to lose your money and not get as much money for your paper money bills. But I digress. Back to this $20 bill. It sold for $19,200. This next one right here is pretty cool actually. It's a $50 bill. So as the denominations go up on these bills, so is the value generally speaking. This is an 1861 $50 Montgomery. Really beautiful bill. You can see there's some annotations on the back. Sometimes you have war generals that are writing on the back of these bills, and that really can increase the value based on who wrote on the back and what it was saying. You can see that the serial numbers on this one were printed on. You can see it is 888, which on these Confederate bills, the serial numbers don't really matter too much because the print runs are so small that it's not uncommon to get a low serial number like this whatsoever. But once again, sold for 18,000 buckaroos. Here we have an 1861 $100 bill. Confederate States of America banknote. This one got graded by PMG at a 53 EPQ. EPQ just means exceptional paper quality. Really rare, really valuable $100 bill. It sold for $25,200. Really really cool, guys. Up next, we have a $500 bill. Just imagine how much money $500 would get you back in 1861. These bills were not handled by the general public. They were used by people that were either higher in command or just extremely wealthy at the time. And it's so important for a bill like this to even exist today. Think about this, guys. I mean, if you were to hold one of these bills in your hands like I have, they are relatively flimsy. They're easy to tear. They're really fragile. So the fact that it's still around to this day makes it so important and incredibly rare. So this one got graded by PCGS at a 35 PPQ, and it sold for $38,400. Now we're getting a little out of hand here, guys, right? A $1,000 bill that is from 1861. This is a Confederate States of America banknote. These are all genuine bills. Now they're not legal tender, which means that you cannot go to your bank and exchange it for $1,000, and you wouldn't want to do that either way, because a lot of the bills in this video that we went over are worth a lot more money than their face value. For example, this $1,000 bill was able to sell for $72,000. That is a crazy amount of money for this $1,000 bill. Now, we do hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and look, if you want me to go over more Confederate bills, give you more interesting information about these bills, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and based upon your responses, I'll consider making another to share more information and more interesting facts about these Confederate paper money bills. We do hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that like button. We'll see you in the next one.